Let's keep going, bro. Let's keep this thing going. Group E is up next, which has Bahrain, Malaysia, Jordan, and South Korea. Let me start off with this. There's a very vocal community here located in this group that I think I've been seeing everywhere online. You go to YouTube comments, it's this specific group of people that are nonstop praising their team and hoping that people can give them the credit that they feel they deserve because of the somewhat rise that they've been on. And that group is the Malaysians. The Malaysians are passionate about their country's football team this year. And it's got me really interested because it made me put a little extra ounce of research into them because I see how much they care for their team. Malaysia, a team that in 2018 was ranked 178. Super low. Wow. But fast forward to today is ranked 130th. Good. So a good 50 spot rise there. Coached by Pangong Kim, the South Korean. Once again, people that don't come from their country coaching other teams. It's a trend here in Asia, but they're currently first in their World Cup qualifying group with impressive wins over Kyrgyzstan and Chinese Taipei. Malaysia's a lot of people's favorites for surprise team of the tournament and the team that will shock the world in a sense, if you will. The question is, do you buy in? Do you buy into what people ultimately think this Malaysian team will pan out to be? Do you give them that shot of maybe getting second or maybe even third and qualifying through a third place slot? Ultimately, are you buying into this Malaysian hype or are you completely out on it?
I do buy into it. I do. You look at their form and it's actually fantastic. They have a lot of wins this last 12 months, but there's a caveat to it, bro. And it's against weak opponents, like really weak. I'm talking the lowest of the low in Asia. But it's good that Malaysia are able to actually get those type of results because if we're talking about a team that's on the rise, then it makes sense that they're getting these results. But a little bit more bad news, I actually think they're in a tough group. We'll look at it in a bit, but obviously South Korea is elite. Jordan and Bahrain are probably one of the better mid-tier Asian teams. So if you want to say that Malaysia get out of this group, they're going to have to do a lot of work. And I mean a lot. Yeah.
We have to assume that Jordan or Bahrain end up in fourth, either one of them. And that's pretty crazy to say.
That's crazy. I like Malaysia. I do. One of the names that stood out for me, Dion Cools. He had a good 4-year stint at Club Brugge. Got some, European action too along the way. Now, actually, I think plays in Asia. So he'll definitely add to this experience that Malaysia desperately need. And the thing is, look, Vietnam did it in 2019. Oman did it to an extent too in 2019. There's definitely room for a team like Malaysia who's on the rise to make a surprise entrance into the knockout stage and do something crazy. That's why I do buy into it for Malaysia. I'm going to go back to it. I think they're in a really tough group.
Yeah. So, okay, you don't want to reveal it yet.
Fourth.
Damn.
Yeah. It sucks. Yeah. Look, man, if they're in Group F, if they're in Group D, they're in Group C, man. Like
you're not going to find it, bro.
They'd get through. But truly, I think they're actually in one of the tougher, battles for second place.
It's crazy. Looking at the FIFA rankings, right? I mentioned that Malaysia was a 130. Jordan and Bahrain, Jordan 87, Bahrain 86. Like, bro, that's so tough. And to assume that either one of them just will finish in last, I don't see enough against those two teams to give Malaysia the optimism that so many of their fans have. So unfortunately, I think I do agree with you, bro. I think I do, but I don't think they'll be a bad fourth place team.
No, that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to get at. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, then, with that being said, then who do you have finishing in third?
Yeah.
Because it's a battle between Jordan and Bahrain.
Yeah, and that's going to be a crazy game too because they play each other in the last match day.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be basically a final, in my opinion, for either team, Jordan or Bahrain. If we say who gets third, I'm going to go Bahrain here. I'm going to go Bahrain. The really interesting team, head coached by Juan Antonio Pizzi, who's won a Copa America with Chile. Crazy that he has found himself here with this Middle Eastern team. But the thing is, Bahrain had a really good 2019. I remember watching them, and I had zero expectations. I'd never seen them play before, but they really exceeded the low-level expectations that I had for them. They play a really good game. They're very similar to the UAE in the sense that they're very solid, very organized. And there was one player that really stood out for me, Ali Madan, who actually plays in the UAE. Low-key, he's a baller. He's a straight-up baller. I talked about how there's not really that many players who can take people one-on-one. Ali Madan is one of those rare players outside of the top 5 that can take a defender one-on-one. He's got a little bit of nastiness to the way that he touches the ball. Very excited to see him in his prime now with Bahrain. The reason why I have Bahrain finishing 3rd, though, is I just don't think they have any supporting cast alongside Ali Madan. It offensively gets a little hairy for them. So I think defensively they'll be fine, but outside of Ali Madan, I just don't think they have it to finish 2nd.
Yeah, Beatsy coaching is crazy to me. That's what gets me. Like, I can't believe he's here doing this for Bahrain. But yeah, when it comes to teams that I potentially considered being in 4th while Malaysia moved on up, it was Bahrain that I had listed as potentially that team to disappoint in this tournament. And it's because I don't see them having the same sort of chemistry or momentum that Malaysia has. They do have better overall talent and quality, and they do have a standout player in Ali Madan. I just think it's really close. I think it's really close between them and Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually did have Jordan finishing in 2nd, which means Bahrain is 3rd. So I actually agree with you completely. I have Bahrain in 3rd place for this group, and Jordan getting 2nd place because they're in a very similar situation. Also having a standout player in Musa Altamari, 3 goals and an assist and 16 matches in League One, man, for Montpellier. That's an insane resume and club to pertain to if you're one of the outside teams, one of the outside elite teams in Asia. That's really, really good. And it's a similar situation. There's not much else outside of him, but a player of that quality can do numbers in a tournament such as this one.
Absolutely. And he actually featured in 2019. He was like 22 or 23 years of age. And to see his career, I think he played in Belgium, and now in his first year in France, he is Montpellier's starting winger. And he moves with the ball real easy, man. Has electric pace. And I think definitely Jordan's starting offensive piece for sure. Alongside Altamari, I just think Jordan have a little bit better supporting cast in comparison to Bahrain. But not by much. I think the margin definitely is small. But I think the way that Jordan plays just slightly more offensive than Bahrain. And it's for that reason that I have Jordan just edging Bahrain for that 2nd place finish.
Yeah, I think the reason I have them edging Bahrain out and getting past the group stage is because of their history, bro. Jordan is the Mexico of Asian Cups, dude. Only been knocked out of the group stages in the AFC Asian Cup once.
Wow.
Once, bro. To them, the group stages, it's just something to toy around with, bro. This is history. This is prestige, man. What they do after that, well, that's up to them to decide. But as a team that historically has gotten through, I found their record to be very impressive in that sense. And I think that means a lot in these type of tournaments. And given the fact that they do have the quality to compete against Bahrain and to be much better than Malaysia, I think Jordan will get 2nd place here. Interested to see if they can kind of pick up any sort of momentum that puts them into a higher tier to potentially do something special. But for now, I just think they're a team that, goes out in the round of 16 and just is thankful to have gotten out of this group.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I do see Jordan as getting out definitively in that 2nd place spot, but I think it ends in the round of 16. I just don't think they have enough in the midfield to really define themselves as a really good team that can make a deep run. They're missing a lot of pieces, but within the group, I think they are 2nd best, which is great for Jordan. That's a crazy stat, though, that they always pretty much get out of the group stage. Yeah. It makes sense, though. They have a history of really good footballers, and when they're locked in, they can play some really fun offensive football. What's really interesting about Jordan, though, is that they're kind of like the opposite of Malaysia, which makes this group so interesting to try to dictate. They're in poor form. They're in really poor form, actually, but it's against good opponents. So it's like, do you expect Jordan to win against a tougher team? Probably not. Whereas Malaysia, they're beating opponents that are weaker than them. It gets really interesting. Do you value form, or do you value the opponent you're facing? That's the ultimate question. And we'll be able to get that answered here to see if Malaysia can even finish above 4th.
Yes. And finishing in 1st place, finally, we have South Korea, a team that I think almost parallels Iran when you look at their history and what they're trying to achieve. 2-time winners, haven't won it since 1960.
Yeah.
So a big gap there. Currently coached by none other than ex-USA coach Jurgen Klinsmann.
Crazy.
undefeated in their last 8 games. But brother, do they have some fucking names. And let me just take a moment to... Can I get a spotlight on me, please? Let me get to the lighting shift here. Heung-min Son. Heung-min Son. When you think about guys like what Sadio Mane meant to Senegal in that AFCON winning run, what Lionel Messi meant to Argentina in his World Cup run, the exact same thing can be applied to Heung-min Son and this current South Korean team. There's an argument, which I actually think he comfortably wins, in that he is the best player at this tournament. A world-class player that has been performing at the highest of levels for like 8 years now. God knows how long with this Tottenham side, consistently scoring over 20 goals in the Prem, or at least over 15, and consistently being one of the best wingers that the game of football has to offer at the biggest stage.
Can I take it one step further there? I was thinking about this. Is Heung-min Son the best Asian to ever kick a ball? The answer might be yes, man. Like, when you look at his resume with Bayer Leverkusen, and then obviously the legacy that he's built at Tottenham, his success with Korea, it hasn't been insane, but when you look at the moments, Heung-min Son might be the best Asian player I've ever seen. And
for
maybe,
us, yes.
For us,
I'm thinking,
but
maybe
ever,
someone we're
bro.
missing, bro.
I don't think so.
I would love the comments to let us know if there's somebody else, but I think if it's not anyone that we've never seen, like if it was someone before our lifetime, then sure, maybe I don't know him, but from the moment I was born until now, Heung-min Son has been the best Asian player of all time. For sure. I completely agree. And what's dope about this year's South Korean team is that I think we finally are seeing the best South Korean team to support Heung-min Son.
Yeah.
Because you have a world-class player in Heung-min Son, but then you also have a damn near close to world-class level player in Kim Min-jae defending for them as well.
Yeah.
They have some names, bro. They have some names that I think puts them immediately into the title contender conversation. Being led by Jurgen Klinsmann, let's see what he can do with this team. And with so many guys, Hee Chan Hwang, Kang-in Lee, Im Byung Hwang, Jae Sung Lee. Any other ones you want to mention?
Did you say Hwang Hee-chan?
Yes,
Wolves?
I did.
Jung Woo-young.
Okay.
Jung Woo-young plays for Stuttgart.
Yes.
Plays for Stuttgart. And then, of course, Lee Kang-in. Did you already say that
Yes,
too?
I did. Okay, we got the main ones. They have all the tools to be elite in Asia, bro. They have all the tools. Straight ballers on this team. The best South Korean team built around Heung-min Son.
Yeah.
Time to deliver.
God damn it. I can't add anything more to that because that is my exact take. For a long time, Heung-min Son has been the best Korean player, no doubt. And they've been very competitive because of that. But they've never had the supporting cast around him. Enough to be competitive, enough to make World Cups, sure. The K-League is one of the best leagues in Asia, so it makes sense that they get there. But I've never considered Korea to be threatening. I've never considered them to be able to shift teams at a World Cup table. But I think finally now, the team that is around Heung-min Son, man, I think they finally can say that they are a team that can go for the title here, and then beyond that, actually build a team that can do something crazy at 2026. And that's what makes me really excited about the South Korean side is exactly that. The supporting cast now no longer is a supporting cast. In each position, you have a player that has their own narrative at club level in Europe, just like Heung-min Son did 10 years ago. And that, I think, is so defining of this Korean side. And we saw a glimpse of that last year.
Yeah.
I had Korea doing pretty much next to nothing at last year's World Cup, but let's be honest, they had some of the more entertaining games at the World Cup last year. But why? It was because of the amount of offense that they focused on in every single game. Now, the thing is that they were very leaky at the back because of that. But the thing is, they showed to me, and I think they showed to the world, that they have players that can pretty much break any defense. Any defense. And that's going to go a long way here. That's the one thing they need to fix. If they can find the balance between their offensive line scoring as many goals as they do and not being leaky at the back, then Korea might be the next best team besides Japan.
Yeah.
And that's scary because you get a Japan-Korea semi or final, and I don't know if I could tell you who wins. I really don't know. That's top quality football right there. And that's so exciting to think about. But that's what Korea need to figure out. Can they find the balance? Can they find that transition between defense and offense? If the answer is yes, then Korea can do something crazy at this Asian Cup.
Yeah, I think South Korea represents kind of that discussion a lot of people are having of Asian football being on the rise. Obviously, Japan is like the poster boy for that.
Yeah.
But the fact that South Korea has improved upon themselves, Iran too, and Australia always being so strong, it represents just where this sport is heading over in Asia. And I'm so happy about that because, yes, South Korea for so long has been a team that you kind of walk over in the World Cup stage. I mean, Mexico did it to them in 2018, and it took a disastrous Germany team to lose against South Korea. Massive result for them, but that's when that South Korean-Mexican unity happened, was because South Korea defeated Germany. This last World Cup, I think, was very indicative of where they're trying to go. The amount of crosses, bro, that they sent in was insane. They had such an incredible offensive approach that I loved. And I'll never forget Heung-min Son run against, I think, Portugal in the very last minute. Went on an insane dribbling run, where he then found Hee Hwan Chang at the very end of it, scored a goal to tie the match or win it. I can't remember. But it was an insane moment. Heung-min Son on his knees crying after the final whistle because they had qualified through. They ultimately ended up losing to Brazil 4-1, but what this team achieved at this past World Cup, I think, is just so indicative of where they're trying to go, what they represent in Asia, and how they're finally, I think, seriously, at least to me, being considered a title contender for the AFC Asian Cup.
And I'm going to get a little personal here. The Jurgen Klinsmann connection is really interesting for me. Because all I can think about when it comes to Jurgen is the way he ended his tenure with United States. You know, it was one of just complete failure, essentially, starting with the decision to not bring Landon Donovan to the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Arguably one of the most egotistical failures in international history. The emphasis was, let's bring European players, let's bring European talent, right? And it ultimately ended with him getting fired in the 2018 cycle, and Bruce Arena came up, tried to pick up the pieces, and it didn't work. And so it's just, personally, it is weird to see Klinsmann now the head of another national team coach. It's just kind of weird. By the way, this has nothing to do with Korea. I don't want to make that very clear.
Dad that walked out on you, and now he's with another family.
Yeah.
And you wonder if he's a good father now.
And dude, exactly.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm interested to see, maybe he has a better connection with the Koreans.
Dang.
You know what I'm talking about?
Dang, yeah.
Maybe he does, and I'm okay with that. I'm just curious. I will say the Korean team, I think, is a little bit easier to pick out than the USA team because I think the quality just kind of speaks for itself. The European talent is very defined, whereas the USA MLS versus Europe talent kind of meshes a little bit more. All I hope is that Klinsmann doesn't detract from Korea's offense. That's it. If he lets them play football in the offensive end, then I think Klinsmann will have done a great job with his Korean side. And that's where I'll end the personal connection between me and Korea.
So we have South Korea in first place, Jordan in second, Bahrain in third, and Malaysia in fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah.